What's up, guys? Ice Toad here. So, there's been a quarterly update for Diablo 4. There's a few videos and shit, something to do with the sound, a bunch of sound recordings and whatnot. And I've always been into audio for the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years. In fact, I wasted a lot of money on audio equipment in the past. I don't anymore, but it's kind of a habit of mine. So I think audio is a pretty big deal. And I think I have noticed in Diablo 2 Resurrected how the soundtrack does add some to the experience. Like there were some sounds, for example, in Classic that I just found kind of hard to listen to. Like Corpse Explosion, for example. It was just a really harsh sound, and I didn't find it appealing at all. So I never really made a Corpse Explosion Necromancer, but I just heard them going on. I'm actually working on one right now, so I'll have a video on that shortly. I played all damn day yesterday, and he's level 40 something already. A summoner / Corpse Explosion Necromancer. But D2R, it has a much more easy on the ears sound effect to Corpse Explosion, which of course you want it to be easy on the ears because you hear it a lot. And I know a lot of you dogs play this game, or Diablo, or mini games just in general, without any sound at all. I like to have sound activated. I mean, for one, you can hear shit drop, and I like having a soundtrack going, preferably the one tied to the game. Although I do often listen to other things while playing, but I still don't have my game on mute. I still have the volume on. And I still even have the music playing as well. I'm usually just watching videos. But I'm going to pull up some shit on this website. I think there are a few videos with sound effects, atmospheric effects, and things like that. So let's do that real quick. I'm working on my Necromancer right now in D2R. Oh, hell yeah. And it's been a pretty good time. My Frenzy Barbarian is a little bitch, so it's difficult to continue with him right now. I need to get a Lawbringer, maybe a Crescent Moon, something like that. A Lawbringer for sure. Need to work on that, but check this out. I'm going to showcase some Diablo 4 quarterly update news. So here's the thing. They posted it on news.blizzard.com, quarterly update. A lot of it has to do with audio. I think there are actually a skill or two that they showcase, but check this out. Hey, yeah. I mean, looks pretty toad, right? Fractured peaks, ambience. Hell yeah. Bunch of snow and shit. I wonder if in Diablo 4 if we're going to have our own little house or camp. Like with little chests and stuff, little weapon rack. Kind of personalize things, you know? I think that would be interesting to have that in town. And it'll function a lot like your stash. I mean, shit, maybe we could have a little hut you could go into, have your character go sleepy, whatever. Like Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim. World of Warcraft, I don't think Classic has anything like that. But Classic World of Warcraft, they have inns. So you can go to the inn and your character can rest there. To where if you rest for a certain amount of time and come back, you actually have a minor experience boost as you play. For X amount of time. Yeah, I mean, the snow and shit, the rocks, the fire, little squeaky this, squeaky that. I think these trees look really nice. But I mean, it's Toad, you know, I should have bought that graphic card. As some of you know, I was waiting in line at Worst Buy for 2 hours, I think. I showed up a half hour before they opened at 7:30 a.m. This was a Friday a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, I don't know when, but because they announced they're going to be getting in graphic cards, and of course they're all sold out. Chick made it to my end of the line. I was about 300 deep. And all they had was the $1,200 GTX RTX 3080 Ti, I think is what it was. And $1,200, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get, at the most, the 3080, which was $699, almost half the price. Maybe I should have got it, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Was that a dumbass move for not getting it? Because my graphic card's a piece of shit. Alright, but there you have it. Now there's more, hold up. I mean, not just in this video. It's just a lot of the same stuff, so that's cool. Alright, let's see what else there is here. Okay. Sound and music in games are the invisible glue that supports the storytelling and ties you to your character and their actions during gameplay. Alright. Oh yeah, I saw there was some video where they're showcasing like Firebolt and Inferno. Let's see what this is all about. Hell yeah. $2019. What the fuck? So yeah, it just gives you kind of the impression that, you know, they're going for more created effects and less recycled sound effects, which maybe they don't do recycled sound effects, I don't know. I mean, Diablo 4 is a big game.
Big flame. This is Poi Ball of Death.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's Toad. Holy shit. When I was a kid, I used to douse tennis balls in gasoline and light them on fire and hit them with rackets, and they reminded me of fireballs. That's what I thought. Because I played Diablo 2 back in those days, and I was like, shh. I was like, this is like a fireball. In fact, I wanted to make a Diablo 2 like short film, and I was planning on using those as fireballs, tennis balls that are lit on fire with gasoline. In fact, it was going to be a Diablo 1 short film because I wanted a friend of mine to play Lazarus, and I wanted him to shoot fireballs and shit. Oh my gosh, look at this sword. Is it a sorcerer? Hell yeah. That's Toad. This effect is weird as fuck. I don't know if I find that very appealing at all. It doesn't look like it's in place. I don't like that skill, but as I saw this video before. Yeah, I don't like that snake skill is weird. I think it needs to be reworked. I think it looks kind of like shit. Because everything else looks so natural and like you could trick yourself in thinking this shit's real. You know, like it's gritty and shit. But then all of a sudden this is it's like super anime all of a sudden. You know, it seems like it feels like it's an anime film all of a sudden. And it doesn't feel like an anime film when she's just shooting the fireball. You know, it gives you like Diablo 1 vibes, only the Diablo 4 we basically imagined when we were little kids. I mean, shit, this is kind of how I imagined it. It was all realistic and all that. Hell yeah. All the nice textures. But then this is like, it's all of a sudden some anime film. It looks fucked up. Kind of my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think it looks like some anime shit right there. And anime shit has its place, but not in Diablo. Not in Diablo, alright? Right? Let's see what this is now. What the Bloodhole? Oh yeah, this is cool. Hell yeah. Big ass tree and shit. Like the Ents. The Ents in Lord of the Rings. Called a wood wraith here. Hell yeah. I wonder how big it is. According to the grass blades, it doesn't look like humongous. According to its sounds. It feels humongous according to its sounds. Hell yeah. So this is like, I mean, it seems like it's inspired by the Ents in Lord of the Rings. I really like Lord of the Rings. Watch the trilogy about once a year, maybe. Got a nice blue. Like I said, I kind of used to be into audio, so I wasted too much money on all that shit. Surround sound with power amps and a nice 7.2 channel preamp processor, big ass SBS subwoofer. Some nice stuff, man. My TV is the worst of it all. It's only a 46-inch Sony, but because it's all about the sound down there, man. It's toad. Oh yeah, I saw some of this. It's kind of gross. Just squishing shit together and all that. For sound effects. I don't know, man. This shit kind of grosses me out. What the fuck? Bones, maybe? I mean, you guys get the picture. Oh! Some footage? Right, I saw this actually a couple days ago. Wasn't really planning to make a video on this, but I decided to. What the hell? Because I am looking forward to Diablo 4. I mean, I probably have higher hopes than I should for it. You know? I feel like they're going to take it a step back a bit, more toward Diablo 2 a little bit. Hopefully a lot, but I mean, I don't want to expect too much, you know? I mean, there's a lot of things that they got to do. You know, I made videos on this in the past, but there's a lot of things they have to do, and there's a lot of things that they have to take away from what they did in Diablo 3 to ruin it. You got to have the itemization like Diablo 2. You got to have things built around game-changing items and mechanics and rune words and things like that that you find. You know, like in Diablo 2, there's Infinity, there's Enigma. There's all sorts of nice rune words that all of a sudden give your character effects that they can never have before, and you have to work really, really hard to get them. In Diablo 3, it's the same visuals and gameplay 10 hours in as it is 10,000 hours in. You're still running all the same shit, doing all the same shit. You know, maybe your character's casting a few extra things, but it's all the same shit, just the numbers just keep increasing. You know, you're doing Torment 10, Torment 11, Torment 12, Torment 13. There's just bigger and bigger numbers. Whereas in Diablo 2, there's a vast gap between the babies and the big boys, you know? Because the babies, they're playing the game and they don't have shit. You know, they don't have Infinity, they don't have Enigma, they can't teleport around with any character. You know, they can't break various immunities and kill almost everything with their lightning sorcerers because they ended up making an Infinity rune word. You know, and there's not that item chase. You know, you're not searching for the currency. You know, the currency is really important. In Diablo 2, we have a nice currency. It's runes. You know, so hopefully, I mean, I don't know what they're doing with the runes in Diablo 4. They're doing some weird shit with them where they just complement and supplement your item that you already have in existence. I think rune words should actually be a thing in Diablo 4. Not to say they should be the most endgame overpowered items. I kind of like the idea of mythic items. You know, because they have this whole mythic item thing where they can roll like random legendary effects or whatnot, to where, you know, you find like a Griffin's Eye, and maybe you can find a Griffin's Eye that has the Frostburn Gloves effect as well, which gives you 40% enhanced mana, which is a massive number. So if you find like a Griffin's Eye in Diablo 4, it's a mythic Griffin's Eye, all of a sudden it has 40% enhanced mana from Frostburns, and then some other effect. You know, so I think that's a good idea. But of course, there's other things in the like they say, the devil's in the details on this audio bullshit, right? No, the audio. I don't want to down talk. The audio's great. It's you know, it's quite essential, right, for a game. But the devil's in the details as well with everything else, the gameplay and the mechanics and the itemization, like details. All right, it needs attack rating. Diablo 3 didn't have attack rating. I think they just wanted the babies to be able to play the game just as well as the big boys. They want the babies to be able to hit everything wherever they're at, no matter what. Where in Diablo 2, it's like it's a barrier you have to get past. You know, if you can't hit shit, you got to use your head a little bit. You got to be like, okay, I need attack rating, so I need to make some executive decisions here. I need to find rings that have attack rating on them. You know, I need to find something like the Metal Grid Amulet that has a ton of attack rating. And even though it's not the best amulet when it comes to everything else, it has a ton of attack rating. So my character is going to start hitting things again. You know, you need attack rating in Diablo 4. It sounds very minute, but it's those details that matter. And you need defense as well, where you miss and shit. And even more importantly, you need things like breakpoints, like faster hit recovery. You know, because that's what separates the babies from the big boys. You know, if you're dueling, if you suck at using your head, you're not going to have any. Then in some cases, you won't have shit for attack rating on your character. And all of a sudden, you'll fight against a character who has shittier gear than you do, but they happen to have a ton of faster hit recovery, I mean. So all of a sudden, you have all this godly gear, and you hit them, and you can almost kill them in a few hits, but then they start hitting you, and you can't recover worth shit from your hits. So all of a sudden, this kid who used his head more, who stacked faster hit recovery and attack rating, can kill the guy that has, you know, just best in gear slot, the best gear in slot otherwise. You know, so say that the other guy has a bunch of faster hit recovery charms. You know, it's little things like that. Attack rating, faster hit recovery, faster cast rate. Because that shit where you have to start using your head. You're like, okay, I'm going to make some sacrifices here. I'm going to take away some plus skill gear and plus damage to skill gear. And rather, I'm going to stack some faster cast rate gear instead. You know, and what's alluring about this and enthralling is finding those fine tunes, you know, a healthy blend of damage gear, skill gear, and cast rate gear. You know what I mean? It's those little things that make Diablo 2 a toad experience. Because then it's not just all the same shit from the beginning on end. Like in Diablo 3, there's no cast rate. You know, you're casting the same frames from level 1 to Paragon level 800. You know what I mean? With all endgame gear. You're casting the same exact frames. And same thing with attack speed, you know, things like that. You need to have those tiers of achievements. You know, you need to have things where you have to use your head and think about it a little bit. And another thing that's really important is you have to have immunities. In Diablo 3, it didn't matter what damage you were outputting. You know, nobody gave a fuck if their weapon gave poison, cold, fire. You know, it only mattered, you know, end-to-end game where you just wanted to up your numbers a little bit. And like I said, that's all that did was up your numbers. Instead of 10 billion critical hits, you're doing 10.5 billion critical hits. You know, that's another massive thing is the numbers. You keep the numbers comprehensible. You know, keep them down-toned, like in Diablo 2, where we can see, okay, my character is actually doing 2,000 melee damage. That's like almost end-game damage here. You know, those numbers we can comprehend more compared to 10 billion versus 11 billion or whatever. It's just a bunch of bullshit from there. But immunities are very important because that's another thing that incentivizes us to use our heads. And am I able to get past this gateway here of there's this area that has a lot of lightning immunes, and so far I've only made my character lightning damage capable. So all of a sudden I can't get past this barrier. And I should have used my head a little bit and tried to make my character more of a hybrid of a sort that's adequate for persevering through this later game content where there's a variety of immunities here now. You know, that's the thing that made Diablo 2 so appealing. It's just those little things. You know, monsters need to have immunities. It made things matter more, and it coined crowning achievements more as well, because you had to get through those barriers. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, one way was to try to find Conviction Aura, either a party member or make a Rune Word Infinity, or another option would be to have lower resist. You know, sometimes you had to improvise and get a lower resist wand on Switch that had charges of lower resist to break some immunities, so you could get past, you know, certain enemies or certain zones or whatnot with your lightning dominant character or cold dominant character or fire dominant character or whatever. You know, but those things are just the crust of the issue here, okay? And give me a hell yeah if you guys are with me on this in the comments below. You know, if the devil's in the details in the sound, he better sure as fuck be in the details when it comes to the itemization and the game mechanics as well. Right? Give me a hell yeah in the comments below if you dogs are with me on that. Alright, we'll watch a couple more of these. That must have been the Ent one, I believe. Oh, is this the Ent one? Okay, this is the one where they're squishing tomatoes and shit. What's this? Oh. Okay, here's another ambient. Here's another ambient one. Gosh, this stuff looks so nice though. Look at that. Yeah, I need to get a slug of a graphics card. But like I said, I mean, the visuals and the sound, they only matter to some extent. You know, more importantly, as we saw in Diablo 2, the game looks like shit. Of course, the art was kind of appealing, I guess, but you know, it wasn't very refined at all. You know, the details were far and few between. But what mattered was those details that I pointed out that made it a great game. Oh yeah, this looks nice though. Oh, there's little animals and shit. Little porcupine and shit. Let me turn this up. Let me turn this shit up. There we go. Hell yeah. Let's forward a little bit. Oh yeah. Alright, that's enough of that. Yeah, this is Toad. Looking really good. Oh, these are just more ambient. Oh, hell yeah, coast. Yeah, I always like the woods and shit. This is kind of the environment that I'm looking forward to in Diablo 4. The pine trees and the sort of northern region, and maybe some snow in some parts of it. But I love the variety. You know, I like having some jungle, of course. Some desert. I'm usually not a huge fan of desert just because I feel like there's generally less variety. You know, I like all the organic shit in the woods and jungles, and even in desolate, you know, places there that's been like colder regions and all that. I mean, but desert definitely has its place, especially if you're exploring tombs, bunch of ancient shit. You know, I like deserts too. But I'm really looking forward to the forest. You know, so I'm hoping they have you know, quite a good amount of the game in forests and shit. In fact, I really have no idea how much of this game is going to be like in dungeon or underground, or how much of it is going to be above. You know, I wonder if it's like 50-50 or... let me know in the comments what sort of ratio do you guys hope for. Because Diablo 2, you're mostly above. You know, you're mostly above. You got to be like 70 or 80%. And then, of course, well, I guess whatever you consider the Chaos Sanctuary River of Flame, is that under? I mean, you go down into the depths, so you are under. But even before that, in Act 4, the Plains of Despair, Outer Steppes, you know, those are all above ground still. And all of Act 3 is, except for, you know, just going into some of the sewers and dungeons. Act 2, probably about 60% above, you know, 40% you're in tombs and shit, looking for the enemy, looking for the shaft. Arcane Sanctuary, I guess, would be considered above. Act 1, a lot of it's above. So yeah, the game's like 80-20 or something, which I think is great. I hope that Diablo 3 or 4 isn't any more than that. But yeah, this is Toad right here. Love that nature sheet. Owls and all that. Yeah, this is great. This is kind of, I mean, it's like the Diablo that I imagined when I was a little duck. Like when I was playing Diablo 1, I was like, wow, just imagine, what's the Diablo game going to be like 20 years from now? And of course, we got something like Diablo 3, which is really fucking disappointing, all anime and shit. You know, and I wanted it to be grounded in more of reality, you know, as we know it. Oh, hell yeah. Breakables, okay. This is absolute Toad. Absolute Toad. I like that, look at the sorcerer. Pretty sure that's the Whammon. Hopefully there's more of a distinction in Diablo 4 than there is in D2R. Pretty sure that's a Whammon. But thank God we can like customize them and all that. And I think that's great. Customize their visual. Yeah. Oh, unique boots, I think? Check that out. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to this game. It's almost a concerning feeling. Because I know, you know, look what happened with Diablo 3. All that bullshit that I explained that it's missing. I don't want to get my hopes up, but thankfully there's Path of Exile 2 that's in the works, right? Because Blizzard knows that no king generally rules forever, right? In which case, PoE 2 is, you know, they're even more competitive now than ever before with a game like Diablo and a company like Blizzard. So I think Blizzard knows that they can't just make a game for toddlers as much. You know, they have to make it with depth. They have to make it for the big boys. And the great thing is that then the toddlers are going to want to be like the big boys. You know, I think the concern is the toddlers are going to see the big boys making enigmas, making infinities, you know, getting way ahead. And the toddlers are just going to give up. But I don't think that's the case. I think the toddlers are going to want to keep fucking playing. You know, just like when we was kids, man. You know, I wanted to just keep playing. You know, if I saw some guy who was all overpowered and shit, and I wasn't, you know, it really gave me incentive to want to keep going. So I think there's that's been mislooked a little bit. But let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this shit, and it's great that PoE 2 I think is going to be coming out maybe around the same time or whatnot. So Blizzard knows that they have some competition now, some big competition, and I'm going to try that PoE 2 as well. I mean, it looks pretty damn good, but really though, you know, I'm hoping this D4 is where it's at. So we'll see. Let me know what your expectations are for Diablo 4 in the comments below. And do you feel like you've given your hopes up or what? And let me know what you think about this quarterly update. So if you guys will, like the video, subscribe to the page, become a patron if you want. Thank you for your support. May the Creator bless you and keep you. And peace be upon ye.